that vujade is the opposite of deja vu. Deja vu is been there, done that, an age of familiarity, same old, same old. In life, it is very interesting to me that sometimes people do the same old, same old, same old, looking for different results. My friends, that's deja vu. Vujade is the ability to see what everybody else sees, but to understand it differently or to see it for the first time. Now, let me anchor this a little bit more. When you look at the word deja vu, how many of you are Hollywood buffs in here? Hollywood buffs love movies, watching movies? Okay, great. So if you ever seen the movie Braveheart, Gladiator, Troy, 300, it has an air of deja vu. Be it Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, it's generally a story about a hero, a war, and a love interest. Yes? Deja vu. Vujade is, I can see what everybody else sees, but I decide to flip it. Everybody say flip it. People who are going to thrive in this next decade that we are moving into are people who understand how to flip it. And when I say flip it, let me give you a quick example. Apple doesn't make the greatest cell phone in the iPhone. But what they have done, they have taken the iPhone, which everybody understands, and they have put apps into the phone. So when you get together with other people who have an iPhone, the first question you ask yourself or you ask them is, what type of apps do you have? What's the point? They have taken what everybody else sees, but they've flipped it. They've thought about it a little bit differently. That's why in this past July, when they rolled out the new platform of iPhone, I was in Chicago, Illinois, on Michigan Avenue. The line is wrapped outside the door on a hot summer day because people believe it's cool to have the iPhone. It's all vujade. How many of you, by show of hands, have ever experienced Cirque du Soleil? Cirque du Soleil. All right? How many of you realize Cirque du Soleil is not the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey circus that you grew up with? Because Cirque du Soleil saw what everybody else saw, but they decided to flip it and understand it differently. That's why people will pay on average $150 to experience at the Bellagio in Vegas. And they don't care because it's a 90-minute experience. How many of you have ever heard of Zappos.com? Zappos.com. How many of you ever bought shoes from Zappos.com? Okay, what's their vujade? Their vujade is, we need to hire talent. But after training talent for 4 weeks, if they don't understand what we're trying to do, we will pay them $2,000 to leave. Because it's cheaper to lose people on the front end than to keep people on the back end, and they're not marching to the beat of Zappos.com. That's why Zappos was recently sold to Amazon for $847 million. Now, what does vujade have to do with Life Max? Well, if we're going to change the world, we have to take Mila and everything that this organization is about, which is about not just changing the world, but changing you for the better. So how can I see what everybody else sees and flip it and understand it differently? And when I understand it differently, that becomes my point of differentiation. That becomes the thing that increases my confidence. That becomes the thing that causes me to be resilient in times of change. Now, when I understand how to implement vujade, I don't talk like everybody else is talking about. I don't see what everybody else sees, because do you realize right now in this economy, there are people around the world with money that are buying up the United States. While the media, God bless their hearts, they're good souls, while the media is saying, here's what's happening, somebody has chosen to walk the opposite direction. Well, my friend, that's what Life Max is all about. It's about seeing what everybody else sees, and instead of swimming upstream with everybody else, we decide to shift and move the other way. Do I have any shifters in the room?
Everybody has a purpose and a plan for their life, and so many of us find ourselves just settling for what we've been done. Oh, you know, the saying, I'm just working with the cards I've been dealt, and that's not. We can cause a change in our life by a decision, by choice, and so many people are just so used to having other people make the decisions and the choices for them, and now Simon wants to empower them to recognize who they are first of all, but also to let them know that they have the ability, the power to make those changes in their life, to make those decisions. Not be concerned about what other people say or think, but really to look deep within themselves and say, you know what, now is the time. If not now, then when? If not me, then who?